Good morning, everyone. Today is March the 12th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band. We can see that the NQ is struggling a little bit to get up into the close of Friday, right? That's a pretty interesting thing that's happening right here. My thought is potential bounces will get sold at the first pass. It's sitting underneath the tight simple moving average. I can't remember which one I'm using. 8. It is sitting under the 8 exponential. And so far, that being under the 8 exponential and having this downside pressure event has been a sell the rally. Now, what have we done? We've come in and brought in a new area of support. So here's my thought. My thought is buyers going to buy, right? And so they are coming in and they're thinking to themselves, you know what? If we can hold this 260, write that down, put an alert, 18,260. If we can hold that base, we should bounce. Here's what's happening here. When this double smooth stochastic hits this ledge, and it comes into the rotation of the moving average, this lower one, we've got ourselves a bounce event. If not, it could easily continue in trend. So notice that number is actually down here where all of this wick action is. So I'm going to move it here. You guys hear Dennis in the background there. That is me listening to Benzinga while I do this. All right, so here we are taking a look at this price action here. We still have this megaphone event. I suspect the traders are going to try and push it into this 20 and then bounce. So keep your eyes open, put an alert at that 18,200 level. I think it's key in the market today for the NQ. What's going to happen with the CPI? I don't know, but here's the thing, folks. This CPI is not a number that we can actually extrapolate into a further trade. It's only the interest rates that are going to tell us what's going on, and that's not until the end of the month, okay? We're close to the end of the month. So my thought is still deep wicks, look for buys. Deep spikes, look for sells. If the CPI bounces really high, to me, it's opening up a brand new short, and so I will be doing that expressly. Volatility bands are a little tight. Don't want to go into them right now, but let's take a look at the next future. That's the ES. ES trying to lift off of this edge. This number I think is supremely important, this 5,200. What are we doing? Listen, we're bouncing off of that 8. It's not even coming into the 20, right? So there's still a lot of buying the dip off of this 8 simple moving average near 51.80. What are they trying to do? They're trying to get back up over 5,200. If it can happen, great. Move up another 20. Maybe it even spikes for another 40 points, maybe 50 points to the upside, but it is going to sell based on the amount of momentum driving the price. That's what's very likely to happen, okay? And of course, I'm using words most likely. We're just following natural patterns of what happens when momentum begins to diverge from moving averages and overall price behavior, all right? It's telling us that we still buy the dip, but as it spikes, we have to get out of that trade. All right, let's take a look at the YM. Okay, the YM is a fair bit sideways. That's been very messy to trade. Super, super, super messy. What's the key zone, though? Notice what's happening. It's sitting right on top of this 20, just up, below, and that 20 is flat. Momentum has started to lift, and that's because we can see the buyers propelling that path upward. And so what do we expect? We expect trend to take us to the north in general, right? Because we're in this sideways patch, but only into resistance until we make a breakout of this zone and move higher, right? So we still have technical divergence. Momentum is in the middle of the pack, so it's got to either get up or go down, and the moving average is flat. So it's still a sell the rip, buy the dip. Same sort of formation sitting here with a fair bit of strength on the bottom with the buyers. And so this is a key one for those of us trading this today. That's a nice sideways pattern that has good solid potential to trade. All right, I'm not going to cover the RTY today, running into a time bog because I've got some meetings here this morning. Let's take a look at oil. Same thing, momentum down. We've been talking about this, so you can go every day and go, I wonder if she's right. I wonder if that's true. That's what you need to do to think through, wait, she's saying something. Do I buy that? And if I do buy it, can I see it repeating over and over again? When momentum begins to fade like this, but trend is moving up, you're going to see a lot of wicks on that upside pressure event because it's going to be buying the dip and selling those big spikes. So they're going to come off of them. Where are we today? Moving average a little flat. Momentum still fading, but down here in extreme territory. So what we're looking for is another flush that should break to the north. But guess what? Oil numbers aren't until tomorrow. That's just what we're going to have to deal with. So it could be a bounce that sells, or it could be just another fade that moves into a deeper line of support. And the next line in the sand, really, we've seen this one. The next line in the sand is down here, right? 76.50. My suspicion is that we sit right in this zone, right? These lines in focus have been the same lines over a week. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Are we in the second contract here? It's the only thing I don't like here. These guys don't roll very well. Look at this beast, right? Now, I mentioned this yesterday. I said, listen, the dollar has filled the gap and gold is going to pull back. And I think it's going to bring Bitcoin with it because they've been moving in tandem. And this is a very good space for us to pull back just a bit. If the numbers come out hot and the dollar catches a bid, this is going to fade. So you want to be careful. Yes, it is by the dip, but the dip could be much lower today. And this thing can move like a house of fire. It really can. The crossover on the volatility from the momentum perspective happened 3 days ago. So that's a long time. It kept going up and up. Remember, momentum tells us the drive of motion, and if it begins to diverge from price, it is not telling you to go full on short. It's saying, listen, take profits at those new highs. Take profits and ride it up with a trailing average so you don't give up a ton of your gains. All right, let's get the SPY. Totally forgot I didn't do those at the beginning. Here's what we have. We've got 513 to 514 as relative resistance. Traders trying to bounce off of this zone of old resistance, new support, about 512. Maybe we say pre-market congestion is not 513, maybe it's 514, but here's the thing. If that CPI comes out and blows through the top here, I think it's still a sell zone. Okay, my thought is that, wait, did the CPI just come out? Yep, it sure did. Okay, so that's the CPI number. It just came out, and we're seeing price action doing a little fade. So fade should give us buy zones. Wait. If you're going long, you're going to have to wait unless you're trying to be quick, snap, amazing fast. All right, is that causing a volatility expansion? A little bit, but 510, old support, new support. Look at them bouncing right off of 510. Just bouncing right off of it. This is not a line in the sand. This move today of the CPI is not something that's going to make us break trend unless something dramatic happens. What this CPI number is going to do is just give traders trading ranges to move through, and we can see them bouncing off the 8. If it doesn't bounce off the 8 today, then tomorrow we're going to have ourselves a likely fade into the 20. Okay, momentum's still in the middle of the pack here, so it could go either way. I still think today is another great day for an iron condor, short iron condor. All right, so here it is with the Qs, same sort of thing, came right off of that trend line, just bounced right off of it. Yesterday, look at this, came into the 20, bounced. Is it under the VWAP? Yes, it is under the VWAP. What do we look for breakout? Above 440. What do we look for breakdown? Below 430, below 436, below 436.50, maybe 437, right? But they're buying the dip. Doesn't matter about momentum. That's the big takeaway I wanted to give you. Don't follow momentum as your be all end all. Watch price, follow price. Price will give you what you want, and price is still saying buy the dip. I'll see you on the platforms. You know I've got a lot of trades to set out for us for a little bit. I want you to watch your size, please. Small trades, a lot of different instruments, and we'll be in good shape. Look at that bounce. Big.